Welcome students. In this video, we shall study the structure of brain. This topic is the part of chapter Control and Coordination. So let us start. Now, if we see this picture, we can see the top view of the brain, how it looks like from the top. And the way we think that you are seeing here is the part of the brain which is responsible for memory and intelligence. This is how the brain looks like from the when we see it in an inverted view. If we see the brain upside down, we see the brain looks like this, and here this part is known as brain stem, which continues with the spinal cord. Now this is how the brain looks from the lateral side, and here we can see there are admin part. This brain stem is also here, which forms the connection with the spinal cord. This is the another view of the lateral side of the brain. Now suppose if we take the cross section of the brain, if we divide the brain along this line, then we have the right lobe and the left lobe of the brain. So if we cut it, then how the brain looks like from inside? The brain would look like this if we see it from inside. Here we can see that there are deep folds in the brain. This all thing is the seat for memory and intelligence. Now we'll discuss in detail the different parts of the brain. So the brain is divided into three main parts, that is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So let us look at this. In this picture we can see that this part of the brain, most of the part of the brain is under the forebrain. So I'll mark it here. All this part of the brain is the forebrain, and if I show you, this thing is the hindbrain, and only here we have the midbrain. So these are the three main parts of the brain. Now let us start discussing about all these three types of brain one by one. Now here we can see the structure of brain through a diagram. Now this part of the brain in which we see the deep folds, this is known as cerebrum. This is the largest part of the brain, the cerebrum. Here this curved structure that we are seeing is corpus callosum. This tissue connects the left and right lobe of the brain. It is kind of bridge between the two lobes of the brain. Then here we come, this is only the midbrain, and here we can see that this is the hypothalamus gland, which we'll study about it in the next topics. So this is the hypothalamus. Here we have pituitary gland, and these three parts, this form the hindbrain. So cerebellum, pons and medulla, they form the hindbrain. Now let us discuss the function of the parts of brain. So let us first take forebrain. Forebrain is the main thinking part of the brain, and it has special regions to receive information from different sense organs. Like from ear it gets the sensation of hearing, from nose it gets smell, from eyes it gets the reception or the impulses of sight. Once it gets all the information from different sense organ, these information is associated or put together in some other areas of the forebrain. So for example, if we are served some food, we'll see the food, how it looks like, we'll smell the food, and then based on the information of the smell and the sight of the food, and also the information which is stored in our memory about the kind of food we eat, all this information is put together and a decision is made whether we are going to eat the food that is served to us, or we would avoid that food. So all this decision making takes place in the forebrain, and that too in cerebrum. Also the feeling of full, sensation of feeling full, that is after we had food and now we are not feeling hungry, this sensation of feeling full is also because of the center associated with hunger, which is the separate part of forebrain. Apart from this, the forebrain has the capacity to learn. All the things that you memorize is stored in forebrain. All the intelligence is in the forebrain. Now we come to the midbrain. So midbrain performs most of the involuntary action. Involuntary action means the actions in our body which are not controlled at our will. So these actions, many of these actions are controlled by the midbrain. Now let us come to the hindbrain. Here, as I told you, there are three main parts in hindbrain: cerebellum, pons, and medulla. Cerebellum is the large part of the brain after cerebrum. So cerebellum cause cerebellum helps us to perform specific movements. For example, if we want to walk in a straight line, we are riding a bicycle. So while riding a bicycle, we need to maintain posture and balance. So that all happens because of cerebellum. Similarly, if we want to pick up a pencil, then the precision of our fingers to pick up the pencil is possible because of cerebellum. Now, if we come to the medulla, the many involuntary actions in our body, like the blood pressure, the salivation, that is the production of saliva at the site of food, vomiting sensations, they all are controlled by the medulla in the hindbrain. So I hope the main functions of different parts of brain are clear to you. Now next comes is how this important organ brain is protected from different kind of injuries or shock. So we must know that the brain is present inside the brainy box or the skull. Inside the skull, there is a balloon-like structure and it is fluid filled. This balloon contains fluid and our brain is present inside the fluid of this balloon. So our brain is contained in a fluid filled balloon and this balloon is in the bony box, which is the skull. So it prevents this arrangement, prevents the brain from any kind of shock. This bony box or skull prevents the brain from any kind of injuries. If we happen to fall and our head gets injured, but the brain is protected by the skull in most of the cases. So similarly, the vertebral column or the backbone protects our spinal cord from the mechanical injuries. I hope this video will be helpful to you to understand about the structure and function of brain. Thank you very much.